Want to help kids get their homework done? Well, an internet connection is a good start. But kids also need computers. And sometimes the hardest thing about homework is finding a place to do it. So why not hook community centers up with Wi-Fi for kids like us and all the amazing things we're going to learn?
Over the next 10 years, Comcast is committing $1 billion to reach 50 million low-income Americans with the tools and resources they need to be ready for anything.
I hope you're ready, because we are.
This holiday, let Hy-Vee do all the cooking so you can spend more time with family. Order your pre-made holiday meals today. You'll find delicious meals that serve from 2 to 12 people, including succulent turkey, honey-glazed spiral ham, or prime rib. Holiday meal packs are ready to heat and serve and include your choice of sides and rolls. For dessert, choose from apple, pumpkin, banana cream, or French silk pie. Meals start at just $34.99. Reserve your holiday meals today at Hy-Vee.com.
Moms and dads, listen, you're not the problem, but you are part of the solution. And this podcast is here to help you reach with your troubled child. Known as the Teen Whisperer, Jason Clopton counsels young adults and has a proven track record of reaching kids when parents can't. Listen and take notes. This show will help you figure out what's bugging your baby and build a bridge to a better relationship with your kids.
Hello, and welcome to the Teen Whisperer podcast. My name is Anissa Keyes. I'm actually filling in for Jason Clopton, who is the originator of the Teen Whisperer podcast. I am a mental health professional and the president of Aruba Emotional Health Services, a local agency just around the Twin Cities. If you want to ever get in touch with me, you can always reach out to us at www.arubaemotionalhealth.com. Our intake line is 612-284-8115. You'll get a live person Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay, so I've spent the previous 4 weeks talking about suicide awareness. Please check out those previous podcasts. We covered the cries for help. We talked about the risk factors for suicide. We talked about the protective factors, the resiliency factors. And then we also talked about treatment for suicide. So if you have any questions about that, please reach out. There's great information back in those other podcast videos. Today, I want to give you an intro on how to raise healthy teens. Now, to do that, I'm going to need to debunk 3 myths. 3 myths that are very common to how to raise healthy teens that are not actually helpful. So we're going to debunk those. And before I even jump into that, I know you're probably wondering what gives me the right to think that I can tell someone about how to raise healthy teenagers. I mean, besides the fact that I'm a mental health professional and that I've spent a lot of time studying child development while in school and through my practice for the last 9 years, even before I started a practice. But also, you guys probably don't know that I am a mother of 5 kiddos. 5, yes. 3 of which happen to be teenage boys, ages 16, 14, and 13. I know, my house is kind of funky a lot. I have a 2-year-old son, but in addition to that, I have a 23-year-old daughter who currently lives off in Spain. She graduated 2 years ago from Spelman College. She's doing awesome. She's in Spain now getting her master's. So I feel like I kind of have a little bit of say-so on top of the fact that that I have this professional background. I know oftentimes we hear people when they come into the center, and one of the first things that they say when they have children that you're meeting with is they're like, "You got kids? How many kids you got? How old are your kids?" Right? Because they want some credibility. So I say that to say I'm not just going off of sort of what my book knowledge is or sort of my professional positioning. I'm living these challenges every day. All 4 of my children, with the exception of my 2-year-old, have been in therapy before. So I have not gotten it right. Clearly, we're still working it out. So this is something that I'm learning constantly now, that I've been learning, that I have a little success in. And so I want to give you these 3 myths, huge. And then I also want to give you 3 truths that are going to debunk those myths. So let's jump in. So in the next 3 weeks, I'm going to go over and go into really deep into each one of those myths. with the truth connected to it about what you really should be thinking about in raising your healthy teens. But today, I'm just going to sort of give you an overview of those three. Okay. So the very first myth, always teach your kids that they are winners. Now, this is common, right? Always teach your kids that they are winners. I mean, I hear this all the time, right? Your kid's a winner. You have to tell them that they can win. They're wonderful. They're always going to win. It's so great, right? To fill your kids with great ideas about that they can win, that they can succeed, that they'll do great things. And I can totally see where people have come up with that as a way to raise their children. However, that's actually a myth. Your kids will not always win. And so the truth is you need to teach your kids how to lose well. Why? Because what is guaranteed in their life is that they will lose. They will lose relationships. They will lose friendships. They will lose sometimes in classes, in games. They will lose and not make the team. They will not get the grade. They will not get the partner that they want. They sometimes won't get into the school that they hope to get into. And so what is actually more helpful is to teach your children how to lose well. I call it how to fail well. Some people say fail forward. You see, loss or failure, it causes a certain amount of pain. And that pain can either push you forward or it can push you backwards. Unfortunately, I see a lot of kids in our center, right, where their parents have not taught them how to fail well. They've taught them to be winners. And while they are winning, it's great. But then when they hit a hard season in life, where they have a loss or where that something didn't go the way that they hoped, it hits them and it hits them hard because they don't have the skill set to lose well, to fail well. So teaching your kids to be winners is actually a myth, right? Teach your kids how to lose because losing is guaranteed. All right. Second myth. I'm going to go in deeper detail about how do we do that? How do we take that apart? Why does it actually make sense? Some of these you might want to give me some pushback on, but we're going to go into our second myth. So our second myth is do everything you can for your child. I mean, go above and beyond, right? Give them the things you never had before, right? Expend the things that you didn't get when you were a child, right? We teach this a lot, right? Especially if we've come from families that have not had a lot. So like if you were raised in poverty, if maybe, your parents had you doing way more than you thought you should have been doing, right? You were doing a lot of cleaning in your house. Maybe you're taking care of your younger siblings, right? And so you're like, I'm not going to raise my kids that way. I'm going to give my kids everything. No, actually not helpful. As a matter of fact, teaching your kids responsibility from the youngest age possible is the best way to create healthy character. What does that mean? That means the 2-year-old needs to be helping with chores around the house. I love Miss Shaletta. She said, everybody in my house works. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Responsibility is actually one of the most important characteristics, or character traits that you can teach your children. It is so crucial. It is the way that they have empowerment to be able to know that I get to choose what my destiny looks like. I get to choose where I end up at. Why? Because I am responsible for me. I'm responsible for my behaviors. I'm responsible for my activities. I'm responsible for my thoughts, for my emotions. I'm responsible for everything going on around me. That is huge. You have no idea how many kiddos we see in our clinic, teenagers. You can probably think of some adults, right? Who I didn't get the grade because the teacher was mean. I mean, he cheated because blah, 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 right? Like all of these other blaming and pushing off the responsibility and actually internalizing helplessness. It's actually learned helplessness. And actually parents help to teach learned helplessness, where like somebody else is in charge of your kiddo's life. So that's a myth, right? Don't do everything you can. Teach your children responsibility. They get to choose their destiny, and that is up to them. All right, last myth. Again, I'm going to dig into each one of these, right? I'm going to dig into why I'm looking at it this way, why this is actually a myth and why this is actually a truth. And then we're going to talk about like how we help with some of those things. The very last one, third myth, self-esteem Positive self-esteem is crucial for your child to be healthy. Positive self-esteem. That is a myth. I know, right? Like you're like, no. That's not a myth. Like my kid needs to see them as beautiful. They need to see themselves as capable. They need to see themselves as adequate, as perfect, as strong, as, yeah, but they're not all the time, right? They're not. That's not the truth. That's actually incongruent with what their reality might be, right? You might be teaching your kid that they are thinking and looking and being a certain way. I always like this American Idol when you can tell the people that are up there singing, you're like, their mama told them that they could sing. Somebody should have told them the truth, right? It's okay that you can't sing. What is most important that you teach your children is they are loved. Listen, they are not perfect. They won't always get it right. There are some times that they're going to see themselves as not so great, and they should. Right? They should see themselves as, you know what? I lied about that. And they should feel guilty about that. That's okay, right? Or they maybe see themselves as not able, not adequate, right? For a particular role or for a particular position. And that's okay. What's most important is you say, listen, whether you fail or whether you're winning, you are loved. Whether you got onto the team or not, you are loved. Whether she broke up with you or whether she invited you to prom or not, you are loved. Whether you get an A in the class or you get a C in the class, you are loved. When you make a mistake, you're loved, right? It's not about the self-esteem. It's about convincing them that no matter what is going on in their world, no matter what their attributes, their ideas about themselves are, how they compare to the social media gurus or, you know, the nice bodies and faces and hair and all of the things that we find our children trying to match themselves to, that listen, they are loved. And when you teach your kids they're loved, what they learn is that even when I don't hit the mark, I'm still loved. So it doesn't matter. Even when I don't get it right, I'm still loved. So it doesn't matter. Teaching your children they are loved is much better than teaching them positive self-esteem. Okay, listen, I want to just mention one more time, Aruba, right? Because we see kiddos in the clinic. Oftentimes we see adults that have had longer time periods of like some of these myths that are not necessarily helpful to their wellness coming into the clinic, right? And so please reach out if you have questions, if you have a kiddo who maybe you've been struggling with their self-esteem, right? And you're like, how do I teach my kid how to feel loved, right? I mean, how do I shift that mindset, right? Please reach out to us, www.arubaemotionalhealth.com. Our phone number, intake line, you get a person Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, is 612-284-8115. Remember, parents, you are not the problem. You are not the problem, but you are a part of the solution. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Teen Whisperer podcast with Jason Clopton, known to his clients as JC the Counselor. Check back every Tuesday for new episodes wherever you listen to your podcasts. Find out more and connect with Jason at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com.
Whatever your life story, you deserve access to comprehensive, affordable health insurance. But it can be hard to know where to start. That's why Minnesotans have MNsure. MNsure is where you can find health coverage for every Minnesota story, regardless of where you live or what your income is. MNsure is the only place where you can access savings to help lower the cost of your health coverage. And you can get free help in person or over the phone to enroll in a plan that fits your needs and your story. Visit MNsure.org today to get started.
It never fails. Every fall, I fall into a funk. Daylight savings time used to have me singing the blues until I found some help at BetterHelp.com. BetterHelp.com. It's an online resource that matches you with your own licensed professional therapist. Listen. Ain't no shame in talking to somebody about how you feel. Your mom and your friends are great to talk to when you have problems. They're your go-to. But sometimes you need a professional. And that's where you need to call BetterHelp.com. Sometimes it's the only way to get your happy back. BetterHelp.com offers secure online counseling, either over the phone or via video. Now, it's not a crisis line, but BetterHelp.com has counselors who'll help you with your anger, stress, depression, or anxiety. The good news is that they're more affordable than traditional in-person counseling sessions. But you know what? If your money is funny, don't worry. BetterHelp.com even offers financial aid. Let BetterHelp.com help you get your happy back. Log on today to BetterHelp.com.